And welcome to Habs Unfiltered. I'm your host, Blaine Pudvey. I'm joined this week by my co-host, Treg Wilson.
Hello.
And Matt, the Thirst Trap Smith.
Good evening.
Can be found on our OnlyFans page, Habs Unfiltered OnlyFans.
So far, we've made $3.
You don't want to know how.
Matt's missing some underwear.
Yeah.
So, it's an exciting week. Hockey starts on Wednesday. We're recording. It's Tuesday night. And tomorrow night, we're going to be watching Montreal versus Toronto. And I'm sure that when we get onto Twitter, it's going to be calm, cool, collected. No one's going to be chirping each other. It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be clean. Everyone's just going to be focused on watching the game. There's not going to be anybody on
watching
Twitter.
The game, and no matter who wins, the winning team will come out and be like, that was a hard-fought battle. Good game by both teams. No one's going to chirp or...
COVID high five, etc.
No Habs fans going to go if Montreal loses about how this team's terrible and everyone should be traded and fire the coach and GM.
No. That's not what our fan base would do.
No.
Not at all.
In my experience, that's never happened.
Never.
Oh, I do have a little piece of news to pass on. As of today, I'm also now not only with the Hockey Writers, but with recruits.ca.
Yay!
So, pay up, buggers.
Yeah, they're doing a very good. Deal right now. So for whoever's listening, head on over to recruits.ca. You're definitely going to get a really good deal for solid coverage for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good stuff in there in the last couple of weeks. Grant's been pretty much doing it solo, but now he's recruited a team to add to the website. So I'm going to be providing an article here and there, but it should be fun getting a little bit more.
Are you going to be the Apron Basu of recruits, or?
Not tall enough.
Sure, I don't know how tall he is. Never met him.
But like how is this some kind of thing? Because I'm Native Canadian.
I don't know. I'm Native Canadian.
Is that an Indian joke somehow? Like what's wrong with you?
I'm just asked because you're on a subscribed site like Apron is on, like The Athletic.
Oh, well.
What are you going to turn this racial?
You people, I'm telling you.
I'm talking about subscribed sites here.
Like our OnlyFans page, subscribe.
Not for the save.
Just throwing out the stabs. Anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't we just jump into this shit here and let's preview the season. So I don't know if anyone was listening to TSN 690. I don't recommend it if you're Tony's an acquired taste. Not everyone can listen to him. Tony Marinaro he's enthusiastic. He's very passionate, but he's an acquired taste. But yesterday he went on with an interview with Marc Bergevin, and his whole shtick at the end was "Ça sent la coupe, ça sent la coupe." He was joking around trying to get Bergevin to admit that they're going for the cup. And he kind of tongue-in-cheek agreed to it. And then, of course, Brendan Kelly took offense to this and attacked that idea. So this is where we're at right now. Some people think the Canadians have a good team. Others are hoping they don't because they hate the Canadians and everything their fans stand for, like Brendan Kelly does. That's right. Called you out. So,
I don't think he listens anyway.
He's the reason we made $3 on the OnlyFans account. It's the only reason he knows about us.
It was a pair of Subban underwear. So it's had to have them.
Yeah, well, they did get into a fight with a teammate, so.
Listen, Brendan Kelly's one of those people that he's only happy when everyone else is miserable.
That's
Montreal
true.
could win the Stanley Cup, and he would find an excuse to. If Montreal does win the Stanley Cup this year, and no, I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup. Say they do. Brendan Kelly will say they only won it because it was a shortened season, and the way the divisions were made, they were almost guaranteed to be at least in the semifinals coming out of the division.
And then he'll complain that they didn't do it in quick enough.
Correct.
So, they can get 3 sweeps and win the last series in 5 games, and he'll complain that they lost 1 game.
Yeah, and then he'll say something like, "This isn't Bergevin's team because Gallagher and Price were drafted by Bergevin."
Yes. Find any excuse to not enjoy what fell in our laps.
I don't think Montreal is going to win the cup.
No, but they've got a good team and they could go deep.
They have a playoff built team, meaning they could surprise everyone. They could. But
Deadline, maybe a trade deadline deal, bring that last piece.
But
who knows?
So could many other teams Tampa Bay is going to be strong. Colorado is going to be strong. Getting out of the North, I can see them getting out of the North Division. Sure. That's possible. But I think Cup's hopeful, but I don't see it. I personally don't see it.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is a season preview, not a playoff preview. So
I thought we were talking about the Cup here. It's the first of the season. Like most other fan bases are playing in their parades.
No, we're not Toronto.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, here, I got a gift for Toronto. Here, it's special. It's there it is. I hope you love it. I put a lot of thought into it.
They're going to take offense.
They're in Ontario. They take offense about everything. They're a bunch of hipsters.
Edgar Leaf's going to write an article about this tomorrow.
I'm sure he will. Right, Matt? Everyone in Ontario is just some dirty hipster.
That's right.
Something like that.
Matt's the biggest Simmons fan on the face of the earth.
I only live here. Remember that.
You're from Jake Allen.
I saw a special hot take on.
Exactly. I'm from Jake Allen country. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I saw a special hot take today. It was someone saying, Corey Perry got waived, but Joe Thornton's on the first line.
Yeah.
And that's a Leaf fan trying to chirp the Habs.
That was terrible.
It's not working.
Even Leaf fans don't want Joe Thornton on the first line.
No, they don't get me wrong. I like Joe Thornton. I think he's going to be a good fit there, but you don't want him on your first line.
No.
What he's gonna make his damage to their he's gonna perform on the power play. That's what he's really. Yep. That's where he's gonna really shine, and he's gonna be a voice in the locker room, and it's a voice that the Leafs haven't had for many years. They took a shot. I'm a Thornton fan. He's a fantastic player. He's a sure thing for the Hall of Fame. But I agree. He's do you want to see him on the top line? Probably not, but we'll see how it goes. They'll experiment with it for now, and then what they'll probably do is they'll put Hyman up there, and then they'll make something work.
He'll just get busted.
I was just gonna say they're gonna break him. They're gonna break the Hyman.
Well, Thornton's a guy. He's a guy he's gonna stay on the roster. He's not a taxi squad guy. They're gonna play him. So
how did this turn into a TSN Sportsnet thing where we start off? Let's talk about Montreal and then just go right into Toronto.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm gonna be like, hey, let's bring it back to what's relevant. That's the Canadians.
Next up on Sportsnet, Austin changed his toilet paper.
What cookie is Marner eating before Austin changes toilet paper? It's all the same crap. So back to the Canadians. We can all admit that this is probably the deepest team we've seen in Montreal in probably 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, more than likely. It's they've got size, they've got skill, they've got speed. scoring up and down the lineup. The defense is fucking just mean. And
Well,
then
the
as for
average
goaltending,
size, yeah, the goaltending's great too. I mean, you got
yeah,
Carey Price and Jake Allen, but
yeah,
for average size on the defense, it's a 6'1", 212 pounds, and you can guess why it's only 6'1" and not 6'2" or 3.
Because
Mete.
Romanov's 5'11".
Romanov 6
Oh,
foot now.
Mete's 5. Oh yeah, he grew an inch, didn't he?
Yes,
Mete's what, 5'9"?
thereabouts. So the average weight on the Canadiens' blue line is 212. The average weight up forward is just shy of 200 pounds. The overall average is about 205. So, you got a fast team with size.
yeah. Bergevin's built a playoff team.
Yeah.
And with the depth that they have, and the guys on the taxi squad, and like I said, all lines can really benefit from proper matchups this year. I think we've got a strong team. I'm just excited that hockey's back, obviously, like you guys are as well. But I'm really excited for this team. I'm really excited to see what these guys can bring, and the chemistry that is going to have to obviously develop very quickly. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all plays out on the ice when they actually play against a team that's not themselves, right? So it should be really exciting.
You got a team that's built for more playoff series style hockey. In a shortened season, we're going to be playing baseball series, so 2-3 game series against teams on the road. That kind of plays into how they're built. So the Canadiens should come out fairly well based on that. So that's why I have them making the playoffs fairly comfortably. And despite a couple of injuries, they should be able to pull it out.
Yep.
But that takes us. We've covered this lineup extensively over the last week or two.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise what they've come up with. So I think the next topic is how they're going to shave some cap space. And before we talk about shaving the cap space, I think we should talk about our podcast sponsor, Manscaped. Support for Habs Unfiltered is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Big news. Manscaped just released their new cologne scent to help you feel good and smell good all over and at all times. Everyone knows Manscaped has the Perfect Package 3.0 for all your below-the-waist grooming needs, but they didn't stop there. Complete your grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. With the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped formulas, this cologne is a perfect complement to the collection. Calm and inviting, the signature scent includes a light citrus burst before settling onto the anchoring notes of vetiver and a woodsy masculine finish. This beautifully designed glass bottle makes a statement, and the manly scent is attractive to set the mood. Be sure to check out the Perfect Package 3.0 with all the essentials for below-the-waist grooming needs, including Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer and crop formulas. Yes, I'm talking about ball deodorant and toner to keep your testes besties. And now you can use the new Manscaped Refined Cologne to complete your set and smell great anytime, anywhere. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code UNFILTERED20 at manscaped.com. I'll repeat, get 20% off and free shipping with the code UNFILTERED20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com. And use code UNFILTERED20. Look good, smell good, feel good with Manscaped.
You'll
Now,
always get the kitty.
Throwing off my product read there while you're just sitting there stroking your kitty cat. So we talked about shaving. Why don't we talk about shaving some cap space for the taxi squad? Treg, you had some stuff written up on that this week, didn't you?
All right. I wrote an article about how Paul Byron would have been the easiest choice to go on the taxi squad to save money. With him and Wheel down on the taxi squad, you're just them two alone, you're under the cap and you can keep 22 players on the roster. They didn't do that. Of course, they kept Byron on the team, which is fine. It's not a bad choice. It's not a bad. I would have kept him over Frolik. Maybe not Perry, depending on the game they're going to play. So a bunch of guys get sent down. We lost Juleson on waivers to Florida. We can get that into that a little later. Perry and Frolik passed through, which is great. I had a little worry that Perry might get picked up by someone, but he didn't. So he's through, and we are now 700,000, 600,000 below.
Just over 700,000.
Just over 700,000 below the cap. 708, I think, is what it is. And however, that we have a 21-man roster. That will change as time goes on because the cap situation will change. And after about 9 days, either Perry or Frolik their contract will be cap compliant and they can be brought up to the team to give us a 22-man roster.
I don't see them doing that. I think they're going to stick with a 21-man roster just to keep saving that cap space. They'll bring them back and forth.
But they can move Kotkaniemi. He's 925. On days off, they can move him down to the cap, and they actually save more money by doing that than keeping the other two, keeping Perry down there.
I see them doing both. They left one spot available in the taxi squad, which tells me that they're looking at doing that. So probably moving Kotkaniemi or Suzuki on alternating times during off days. They'll move them down, bring them back up for paper transactions. And on the Perry waiver thing, I mean, I was looking at it and I went and researched. I can't find the last time an over 35 contract was claimed on a waiver wire. Especially one of a player who chose to sign with a specific team. Like why would a team claim you right at the start of the season when they already said no to signing with you in the first place?
Well, I mean, I didn't think Juleson would get claimed either, considering he barely played for 2 years.
Yeah, however, they got claimed by Florida, which has Shane Churla.
And they've got Rick Dudley down there as well. Yeah. He's a senior advisor. So on the thing with sticking to Perry before I move on to Juleson. So I was a little bit afraid that they would based on the fact, and a lot of, especially Leaf fans, of course, they're going to say shit. They said things like, "Oh, well, the Canadians picked him up, and now they're putting him on waivers. They don't want him. Canadians were the only team that wanted him, et cetera, et cetera." You got to remember, Corey Perry chose to sign with the Canadians. There were more than likely plenty of teams out there that reached out to him. He chose to sign with the Canadians. And my thought was, well, now he's signed, he's on waivers. Maybe a team that did want him can pick him up, will pick him up. And obviously now we know, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy that he cleared. And he's going to be a very good, I think he's going to have a really good season for the Canadians. I really do. I don't think he's going to be a 30-goal scorer, obviously, or anything like that, but I think he's going to bring a veteran presence to the lineup that's already going to add to a very strong leadership group. And I think the fans are going to really enjoy him. When it comes to Juleson, really quick, really sorry to see him go. I was at the draft in Florida when he was drafted. It's actually when I met Blaine, actually. Love the kid. Very, very, very nice young man. I was able to have a conversation with him after he got drafted. He'll be missed for sure. He's a competitor. It just health hasn't been on his side, unfortunately, throughout his career. I wish him all the best in Florida. And as Blaine brought up, the reason behind this was more than likely because of Shane Churla and Rick Dudley. But the only thing I can say is I wish him all the best. I was really, really looking forward to seeing him have a full season with with Laval, with Joel Bouchard. I think he really could have taken his game to the next level if he would have stayed healthy. So what I'm hoping for is if he does get placed back on waivers, that the Canadians can kind of snatch him back up. That'd be fantastic. But we'll see how it works. Wish him all the best, though.
Yeah. So with the taxi squad, we have Frolik, Perry, Paling, Lindgren, and Fleury. So with Paling and Fleury, they didn't need waivers. That's why no one saw them on a waiver wire, because they're waiver exempt. They are also fairly young, so it's likely that they're just there until the AHL camp opens or until the AHL season begins, because there's a gap. There's a couple of weeks where there's nothing going on. So why not just have them here, travel with the team, practice with the team. They're on the ice, or they're getting reps in at least. And that's why we see someone like Wheel go down to the AHL, because if he gets a couple of weeks down there, they don't care, to be honest, because if they do swap around, Wheel will come back up onto the taxi squad and just sit there. They're not planning on using him. So I see the reasoning behind why they did what they did.
And the waiver thing with the taxi squad and Laval doesn't matter. Once you're put on waivers and put down,
That's
you
right.
can either go to taxi squad Laval, and they can interchange with Laval all they want.
Because the
advantage
taxi
they
squad
have-
is essentially the AHL.
Correct. And the advantage they have is Laval is in Canada, which is and also in Quebec. So there's a little bit different rules when it comes to quarantining. And I don't know how the main team bubble is going to work for that, but I just know when they were talking about the AHL with the 4-team Northern Division in the NHL or AHL, it's going to be easier for teams with their farm team within their division and within their geographical bubble to move guys up and down. Whether, again, I don't know what the rules are with the main bubble and people coming in from outside. I have no idea, but I don't even.
When it comes to the Canadian, if the Canadians are going to send Paling and Fleury down and bring up Wheel and I don't know Wadette, just spitballing. But if they do that swap, waivers aren't involved, but there may be a 3-day waiting period where they do a test.
Yeah.
If you look at Calgary's AHL affiliates down in the US. So if they need to bring anybody up to join the taxi squad, that person has to do a 2-week quarantine.
Is it 2 weeks or 7 days?
2 weeks, because they're from outside the country.
Edmonton's the same too with Bakerfield. They have to.
That's right.
Because they're coming from and this is another reason why you got to look at Juleson going to Florida. Is Juleson's going to have to? He's not even going to be able to start playing for Florida until.
No, they don't have that rule down there.
Are you sure? I thought.
Yeah, for their federal rules, like the United States don't have that. The NHL team has a set rule, but I think it's 5 days with 2 negative tests.
Okay.
So right now it's not going to hurt him.
5 days. He's not going to be able to play till next week.
No.
So
not going to be able to practice or whatever. And I don't think that was their plan. I think their plan all along was just to keep him on the taxi squad.
Which is a shame for him.
Yeah.
So, unless he gets put down to whatever Florida's, I forget what Florida's minor league team is, but
Springfield,
yeah.
Yeah. So the taxi squad seems to be pretty much set. I do see they're going to have to follow the 10-30 rule. So 10 games in 30 days. So they sent them down. That's fine. You bring them back up after 30 days. They got to be waived and clear waivers again to go down. So I expect to see them come back up before the 30 days is up, just to start that clock again.
It's cumulative, so the clock doesn't start again.
No, it starts again.
No, I was reading on Twitter. Hockey experts said it's cumulative, so it's 10 days. If you take 2 days now, 6-7 days later, you only have 1 day left. That's it. Once you hit 10 games.
10 games.
10 games.
Yeah, I'm talking about the number of days.
Number of days is 30, and it's also cumulative.
That's not. Anyway, they're gonna have to fuck around with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can look it up to make sure, but
You go ahead. You look that up.
Yeah.
And then when you find out I'm right, then we'll come back to it. So we covered the taxi squad, Byron's cap hit. Now there's some rumors going around about Pierre-Luc Dubois out of Columbus, and the Canadians being attached to him somehow, and how they're very interested or not. Matt, what do you make of this rumor? I mean, this is right before the season starts. What do you make of it?
Right now, I'd say it's still just a rumor. There are some websites out there suggesting that it's kind of like a two-team race to acquire him. The other team being Winnipeg, and we know that Patrick Laine's name has come up a lot. Could there be a trade that could be made between the two teams involving those two players? It's really hard to say. For now, I'm just gonna, I'll be on social media, and I'll be on TSN, Sportsnet, whatever, until something happens. For now, he's a member of the Blue Jackets. I think he's gonna have a really good season, like he has been. He's an exciting young player to watch. He's a power forward. He puts the puck in the net. He'd be a fantastic guy to have on the team. I would not turn him down, but the price to acquire him, that's kind of where it kind of scares me.
He's a definite want, and the Canadians have the assets to do it. But is he a need?
If they had Pierre-Luc Dubois and Nick Suzuki as a 1-2 punch, I'd be pretty excited about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what happens in 2 years when Suzuki and Dubois need a contract?
Well, Dubois would need. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to say.
And this is where I went, ooh, wow, this is great. I'd love to see him there. And then I thought about it. Dubois is making $5 million as it is right now for 2 years, which is good. It's a good cap hit for a player like him.
Yeah.
But in 2 years' time, he's going to be 24. He's going to be entering his prime. He's going to probably be looking at anywhere from 9 to 11 million somewhere.
Depending on his performance.
Exactly. Right? But if he just keeps trending the way he is, that's where he's going. So
if he's around the right players, like last year he put up 49 points in 70 games.
Yeah, but he went point per game in the playoffs. So they do pay for that too. Even though you're not paid in the playoffs, your contract reflects your playoff performance. So he's a great player. He'd be great on the Canadians, but he's more of a want.
He would be, and the fact that he's Quebec-born player, et cetera. We know that he's been interested in him for many years.
Oh yeah.
It is more of a want than a need. However, I'm sure that Bergevin is going to be phoning, and he's going to inquire, and he's going to wonder, what do I have to do to get this player on my team without giving up too much? And we talked a little bit about this before we recorded. They've got an abundance of draft picks. They've got some young talent coming up that not a lot of people talk about. Guys like Jordan Harris, possibly like a Jaden Struble, Norlinder, those kind of guys. If they could make a deal without having to give up Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, those kind of players, it would be hard pressed for them not to do it.
I don't see Columbus making a deal where not one of those players.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm Kekalainen, I'm not going to pick up the phone and go, Dano, random prospect and a third. Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. He's going to have to make something. He's going to have to try to do something, but I as I said, I think it's more of a want than a need.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
but it's got to be something that if the deal is right, I think he's going to pull the trigger.
But would it really push this team over any hump? I mean, does he bring anything in the long term? Like, obviously this season Dubois would be a better choice as a center than our current young centerman in Kotkaniemi and Suzuki. That goes without saying. He's further along in his development. He's gonna outproduce. More than likely, he's gonna outproduce Kotkaniemi. Maybe not Suzuki. We'll see what happens. But let's say he outproduces both. Yeah, he's a better choice at 1C. But 2 years down the line, like I mentioned, with him he's gonna probably want more money. Suzuki's gonna need more money. Kotkaniemi is going to be up for a contract here as well. In the long term, what would he provide that neither one of those two can? Because let's be honest, Suzuki's probably going to be about as productive, if not a little bit more so, than Dubois. Plays a different kind of game. Kotkaniemi plays a similar style of game, but he won't be as productive. So what's the ceiling on Kotkaniemi? What, about a 60 point? If we figure 60 points? Physical center?
That's about right. 60 points.
And
70
Suzuki, we're looking at about 70 to 80, right?
Yeah.
So those two guys are probably going to get bridge deals, making about what Dubois is making now. So for the price of Dubois 2 years from now, we get two centers for the same cost. I think in the long run, the Canadians are better off sticking with what they have. I mean, they clearly believe in what they got. That's why they did this quick turnaround. So why would they just change direction suddenly and go out and get this player? He's just a want. I mean, it'd be cool to have.
I think a lot of this is gonna come down to how the contract negotiations with Danault go. If those start going south, then perhaps we might see a change.
Yeah, and I don't see Dubois going anywhere.
And Danault could be a part of a deal around getting somebody like that.
Danault would be better going to Winnipeg for, say, a line A and throw something in with him.
It might be. But for if they wanted to get a center back, then that could be a piece. That could be an NHL piece to put in.
The way I look at it, though, Columbus has Dubois for the next 3 years?
2
years. If they want a center, they're just going to keep Dubois until they have to get rid of him.
But I mean, you got the Kings, you got the Ducks, Winnipeg. They all have centers that they're willing to give up. Columbus is also looking for a defenseman. So, do you want to give up a Romanov? Do you want to give up a Suzuki? Like, these are the level of player that it's going to take to get a Dubois.
Blaine, we have the second best defenseman on puck zone entries in the NHL.
I don't think they want Mete.
They didn't put him on waivers, so obviously he's incredible.
The second best defenseman in the NHL on puck zone entries. That's it. That's all you can. That's all he's done. Is he got into the zone really well and did nothing. But
I'm looking at my Facebook right now. Someone sent me a message. They said that they would trade Danault, Mete, and a second round pick. And that should be able to get a Dubois. No.
Yeah. No.
No. What is this? Ryder Halak in a second? Like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
That won't give you a Deblois.
Now. He's retired. My God. But, all right. So we'll just, so we got the game against the Leafs coming up tomorrow. We'll probably release this in the morning of the game. So game day. Leafs, Habs, traditional rival. I mean, TSN's been going out of their way to doctor photos to make it look like it's competitive. So I don't know I'm going to name off a couple of lines here, and you tell me how the Canadians' lines are going to match up to this. So according to Cap Friendly's depth chart, the first line for the Leafs is Joe, oh my God, he's as old as I am, Thornton. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. So Matthews and Marner is a great pair, but
should be the Danault line.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the Danault line. I would say that Danault's line would be able to keep up with that line.
Well, Thornton won't be able to keep up with anyone. So
it's going to be a track meet.
I don't understand why they are so gung-ho to put Thornton on the first line.
Veteran leadership.
Set up Matthews. I mean, he can pass. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but he's going to have to make freaking 3-line passes. You can't. Matthews would be over the blue line before the puck even gets to him from behind his own net.
The Danault line will match up against that for sure.
I would think so. Yeah. As much as they can, because the game is in Toronto. So, yeah. But then they'll probably end up with the Suzuki line, and Suzuki's proven he can keep up with players of that caliber as well.
Plus the Kotkaniemi line. Now that he has Armia and Toffoli, he has two good defending wingers. And all three can skate. So, and not that Kotkaniemi is not a bad defender himself, but I mean, that's the thing with Montreal this year. Like we talked about, they don't have an elite superstar, but they have three solid lines that can play 200-foot game.
And their fourth line is not that bad either.
Well,
all right. So for the next line, and Matt, I'm going to see what you think on this one. This actually is the line I think is going to be their best line. Jimmy Vesey, John Tavares, and William Nylander.
I'll put Suzuki line against them, to be honest.
Yeah.
You got another defensive center, and you got a guy that can go in hard on the forecheck. So I would do that.
And Suzuki plays the same kind of hockey that Tavares does. Not comparing the two, saying they're the same. Just saying their style of play is the same. Don't at me. My God. But
you think Suzuki's better than Tavares? What's wrong with you?
Suzuki never hit the. Oh no, Suzuki did hit the post at the end of a game in the playoffs. So they're the exact same. They're the exact same.
He doesn't even fill Tavares's hockey skates.
Yeah, well, one player's won a playoff round.
Ooh, in Toronto.
Anyway, the Jimmy Vesey pickup I think was a pretty good one, especially considering the cap hit on him. He's a guy that I think could on a second line with this team could be a 20 to 25 goal guy. He Definitely. Plays a north-south kind of style, a bit of a power game, and he's fast. So I think that line would, like the Suzuki line would have their work cut out for him, but it's a good matchup.
I think that's Toronto's best line.
I agree. They have three players who can actually play.
And all
in the same way. They'll all be in the same zone.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much where things start to break down for Toronto. After that, they got Mikheyev, Kerfoot, and Hyman. I think the Canadians break that line. The Kotkaniemi line, if it matches up to them.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fourth line, Barbashov, Baba Ganush. I don't know.
Barbashov.
Baba Ganush.
Spezza and Simmons. So
I can see the fourth and the third line kind of swapping a little bit and getting matched up against that.
Yeah, but then you have Byron, Lekin, and Evans. They'll just skate circles around Simmons. Simmons will try to fight everyone on the line because he won't know what else to do. And then I don't know about Baba Ganush. I don't know anything about him. Baba Rodnov or whatever the hell his name is. Baba Hubba Hubba Bubba.
He's a skill guy.
Wait a minute. Where's Nick Robertson?
Oh, Nick Robertson. Well, he's down on the taxi squad.
What?
Yeah.
Did you see the laser of a shot he had in that scrimmage game?
Unreal. The uncontested, wide open shot. How does that not become?
I thought Nick Robertson was the greatest draft pick since
ever.
Guy Lafleur.
No. Wendell Clark. Get your shit straight.
Oh, sorry. Man. That's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know that their bottom six, the Canadians' bottom six is going to feast all over that one.
The Leafs, for the record, the Leafs actually haven't even brought out their roster yet.
I'm going off cap friendly.
Yeah, but they haven't. I know, but they haven't come out and said this is our official? This is ours. They have, yeah.
But
because they're still They've still got 13 forwards, 8 defense, and their 2 goalies.
So if you put Nick Robertson in the lineup, it's an instant 27-0 win.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Especially if he plays with Thornton and Simmons.
That
Right
line,
now,
you can't
yeah.
stop that line. Cannot stop that line. Everyone's
Well, I
getting
mean-
double hat tricks.
Thornton's been playing on the top line this whole training camp, and I don't see them changing it come to season when he's been there the whole training camp.
He's going to start there.
He's going to
He's
start
definitely
there.
starting there.
I don't think he's going to stay there, but he's
No.
going to at least start there. Personally, I think Hyman would have been a better guy to go there than
He might end up there. Mihailov may end up there. I think what they're doing is they're going to start with this because they want that to be their power play line. So build some chemistry. On the
Yeah.
power play, he's going to be deadly. Thornton's going to be deadly because they're going to set up down low and he's going to come in off that half wall and he's going to open up at least 4 or 5 different kinds of passing lanes. That power play is going to be freaking good.
sure.
It was last year, and then you add Thornton in, just makes it even more dangerous.
Yeah, their power play was actually middle of the pack, but they did have.
Keep in mind the
They
Canadians'
did have
power play
Riley
looked like
gone for a
shit.
while. Yeah, they did have Riley gone for a while, and
Yeah.
when you put a bunch of individual players on one line, they all just play individually. It doesn't really work.
It's like that automated football game, the Ronco one where you turn on and they just kind of going around in circles. Yeah, that's what it was.
I think that's going to be the big thing this year for Montreal is their special teams.
Yeah. They're going to need their penalty kill to step up because there's some good power play teams in this division.
Yeah, and mind you, after January last year, their penalty kill team was 9th in the league. I mean, that's not saying a month. It was only for a month and a half, but the power play is what still worries me. I don't see any improvement on their power play. Yeah, we added some guys to it, but unless you totally they have Weber now down on the Ovi spot instead of up where he was. That's going to be a good change. But it still seemed like they're still relying on his shot, and everybody's going to know it.
Well, yes and no. They got Jeff Petrie at the top, as the kind of the quarterback, and you've got Drouin down low, not in front of the net, down low for
And
the cycle
Suzuki.
with Suzuki on the half wall,
On the half
and you got
wall.
Toffoli as in the bumper for the shot.
Yeah.
So now you've got at least 3 to 4 different shooting options with a lot of really good passers. This is going to be set up to be kind of they're going to make it pretty. They're going to set up, get them try and get quality shots. And then the second wave comes out and you got guys like Anderson and Gallagher, Kotkaniemi, Romanov. Tatar. So these guys are going to just be a volume. They're going to throw everything at the net, including their bodies.
Yeah.
So it's going to be two contrasting styles on the power play. So teams won't be able to game plan specifically for the Canadians power play. They're going to have to game plan for 2 of them. And then you can even change that up a little bit as you go. But I think the Canadians power play is going to look a little bit better. Probably end up around 15th in the NHL is my guess. Not expecting miracles, but
I mean, hey, if they could just get to half of half better than what they were before, or a quarter.
They finished the season at around 17.5% on the power play, and a middle of the pack power play is usually around 20. So if they can get upwards of 21, 22%,
exactly. Yeah.
It's not unheard of to get a 4 or 5% bump with a couple of new bodies. Especially if you're getting a lot more power plays. I think the Canadians are going to draw a lot of penalties based on their team speed and that aggressive style they're going to play on the forecheck. Especially with you got Gallagher and Anderson playing a pincer move coming in. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pucks thrown over the glass, I think.
Yeah, and Anderson's speed has amazed me. When I see him in the scrimmage game and in the highlights, for a big boy, he's fast. He's really fast. So
and he's going to have something to prove, and he's going to be coming down the wing on guys like Riley and Brody, Muzzin and Hall, Dermott and Bogosian. So those are the 3 pairings for the Leafs. Nothing in there makes me say, "Oh God,
Oh no.
we're in trouble." Like
Yeah.
I like Riley as a defenseman, but he's more of a two-way, more offensive side.
Yeah, his defense is he's like a Carlson.
A little bit.
Little flashes of really good
You mean
defense, but
San Jose Carlson,
yeah.
not Washington Norris Trophy Carlson.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah.
Eric Carlson.
Yeah.
He's more. I find him more like him. Defense is okay, but it's more of an offensive presence.
Yeah.
TJ Brody,
He's solid defenseman.
he's an upgrade to Barry, I guess.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Jake Muzzin, if he stays healthy.
Yeah. He's the anchor on their defense, I think.
Jake Muzzin, to me, Jake Muzzin is their best two-way player, two-way defenseman, I guess you can say.
On the defensive side of the puck, he's definitely the best they got.
Best, but I mean, I guess I don't want to say two-way, but I guess overall best defenseman because he's not too bad in the offensive zone. He's really good in the defensive zone. Whereas Riley's their best offensive one. Their bottom pairing. Man.
Yeah. So all this is to say, I think the Canadians are going to match up very well to Toronto because they have the speed, they have the size, and the style of play that the Canadians employ tends to give Toronto grief. Just look at last year when Montreal had a depleted lineup, but they still went 3-0 against the Leafs.
If they play anything like Columbus did, Toronto's finished.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Toronto, I mean, the additions of Thornton and Sims are going to help them a little bit in that area, but all Montreal got to do, really all Montreal got to do is clog four players. You shut down one of their lines and you pretty much are going to, I mean, they have basically four players on offense, basically. Four really good players, don't get me wrong. Like, they're four game-changing players, but I don't know. That's all I got.
So I'll ask you guys this before we sign off. The game to open the season, I'm going to ask you to predict what you think is going to be the final. I'll put you on the spot. You don't have to give an exact score. You can say which team, if it's an overtime or not, go for that. But I'm going to go to you first, Treg, because, well, we want to look at Matt gaze deeply into the camera more. Like that.
Since my name's the villain, I'm going to say 4-3 Toronto in overtime.
Okay.
Matt? Oh, do you want me to explain why I think it's going to be 4-3 or anything? Or
if you want.
Karma. Because I've been spouting out shit on Twitter, and I think Karma's just going to come back and kick
So
me.
What you're saying is if the Canadians lose, it's your fault.
It's probably my fault, yes.
All right, so you heard it here first, everyone. If the Canadians lose a game, it's Treg's fault.
Yeah.
Hashtag, it's Treg's fault.
Although I never did come out and say that Montreal was going to kick Toronto's ass. However, I don't know. I got a feeling. I got a gut feeling Montreal's not winning the first game. So.
Okay. Matt?
I'll go with a 3-1 Canadians win, but I think it's going to be a sloppy game on both sides because it's going to be their first time playing against someone that's not their own team. So I think it's going to be a sloppy game on both sides. But I think as the game progresses, it'll get a little bit more competitive. But it's going to be a feeling out game for the first one. So wouldn't be surprised if you see some changes to matchups throughout the game. I doubt we're going to see a lot of line changes or anything in the first game, but I think that they're going to try to get everyone on the ice a little bit more than what they should, get their legs moving. We might see a little bit more Romanov. We might see a little bit more of the Evans line, et cetera, than we normally would throughout the season. But yeah, I'll go with 3-1 Canadians win.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Canadians will pull out a win, and for kind of the same reason you picked it. It's going to be sloppy, but it's going to be a game where the players are actually able to go 100% and be physical. So all the Canadians players are going to be finishing their checks. I think that's going to throw the Leafs off more than it'll throw the Canadians off. So I'm seeing like a 3-2 or a 4-3 kind of game, but I think the Canadians can pull out a win. And if they don't, it's Treg's fault. So
I got one more question to ask, and
yes.
I was going to bring this up earlier, but seeing that we're close to signing off, it's looking like Owen Power likely be the guy that's going to be go number 1 at the draft. How about we make our prediction today? Who we think will finish bottom of the league and why? Just quick.
Tough.
Oh,
Or at least be in the running. At least be in the running for bottom of the league.
Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, they've added some veterans, but
It's hard because both Ottawa and Detroit, I think, actually improved their teams.
They did. Ottawa definitely did.
I don't think they're going to be terrible like last year.
No. I can't see Ottawa getting out of the division, but like making the playoffs. But with them bringing, they got Stützle now, they got Derek Stepan. If he stays healthy, he'll definitely help out the team. Their defense got better. They got meaner. They got bigger.
San Jose, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So mine was Chicago.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So mine was Chicago based on the fact that Taves is missing the start of the year. Nylander's now injured. Doc's injured, which happened at the juniors, obviously. They just got Andrew Shaw back, so that'll be a nice addition for them.
And they don't have any goaltending.
That was my big thing.
Subban and Delia are the
Yeah. So Colin Delia he played 16 games for them last year with 6 wins with 3.61 goals against. Malcolm Subban last year won 9 games in Vegas, playing on a very strong Vegas team, and he was a 3.18 goals against. So you got a team that's very depleted already, and you've got 2 very inexperienced goalies. I think it's going to be a really tough time for them. I'm a big Taves fan. I always have been. I really hope he gets back to the lineup soon. But you look at a team right now that most of your offense is going to come from guys like Patrick Kane, DeBrincat, and Kubalik. And your defense is only going to really come from Duncan Keith. And you've got no goaltending. I can see them being amongst the bottom teams. Yeah. Which is a hard thing to say because Chicago's been consistently good for a long time.
But everything's just piling up on them right now.
Yeah, even last year they weren't terrible.
No, but you lose half your team.
Stars are aging. Yeah. And their stars are aging.
Yeah. And then the ones that aren't, even the young ones are broken. Like, how long before DeBrincat, gets injured with the luck they've been having over there?
Well, DeBrincat shouldn't be even in the NHL. He had a terrible World Juniors when he was there. So.
Yeah, he was horrible.
So, and if you have a terrible World Juniors, you can't be an NHLer.
Especially as an undersized player. Like, what's he doing in the NHL?
Terrible.
Scoring 40-some-odd goals a year.
Terrible.
Horrible.
Fluke.
Absolutely. And if the Canadians would have picked him, he'd have been a bust. I don't know. I think Ottawa's going to be down there. I think you're right with Chicago. I don't know. Florida might be another one of those teams that just underperforms and ends up down there.
Like every year?
Bobrovsky's already out with COVID, so who knows?
Buffalo.
Oh, geez, that would be hilarious. How long before Eichel demands a trade out of there if they hit the friggin' basement again? Goes to Columbus for Dubois.
And then Dubois wants out after his contract.
He's just like, why am I in Buffalo?
Hey, the Bills won.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've pretty much exhausted everything.
Let's get back to our waiver discussion, Blaine, because I
No.
have the rules right here.
Oh yeah. What is it?
It's what were you? Well, first of all, just say what you're saying, because maybe we were agreeing. I just was getting what you were saying.
No. Read the rules.
It says a player has not played in 10 games cumulative since he cleared waivers, and no more than 30 days cumulative on the NHL roster since he cleared waivers.
So he can do up to 30 days.
Yeah, but even if he gets sent down, say he does 5 days,
Yeah.
sent down and does 25 days, then he's done. Or 10, like he can sit down up and down as many times as he wants until 30 days hits of added time.
So they can send him back down. No problem.
As long as he doesn't pass 30, as long as it doesn't add up to 30 days that he's been on the roster.
Yeah. So let's say they get to 29 days, send him down.
Don't bring him back up. Or if you bring him back up, he has to clear waivers the next time he goes down.
Does he?
That's what it says.
Just says he can only be on the roster for that long.
He can only be on the roster for 30 days, and then he'd have to go back on waivers to go back down.
To go back down if he passes the 30 days.
Correct.
But if he hasn't reached the 30 days,
No, you're absolutely right.
Send him down.
Send him down.
No problem. No problem at all.
And
No
no
you can
problem
bring him
at all.
back.
But then he has to stay.
But he's already cleared waivers, so he can stay there for 30, up to 30 more days and send it back down.
No, he can only stay there for 1 day, and then he has to go back down. He has to clear waivers.
Tell Zach Smith that, Mr. Waivers himself.
And then, unless he plays 10 games at some point in there.
Hmm.
So he can play for 29 and get sent down, but if he comes back up and stays for 1 more day, he has to clear waivers to go back down.
Yeah, if he passes those times for games. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, that's it. Just clarifying that.
Okay, so now we'll end the show. No more new shit. I'm gonna mute both of you if you try and find new stuff again. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, listening to the show. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. It makes it a ton of fun. Even those Leaf fans that love chirping us. Yeah. Because sometimes they think they're chirping us, but they end up insulting themselves. It's really weird. So keep doing that. You're showing us up.
Yeah, editor and Leaf.
What a piece of shit that is.
Oh
my God.
I'll call you out, Tanner.
Yeah. Leaf fans hate that guy too. They're like, yeah, we can say dumb shit, but that guy takes the cake. You know what, Leaf fans, we do not paint you all with the same brush. You are definitely not that bad as him. You're bad. You improve yourselves. Maybe switch to Calgary.
I'm telling you, Blaine, keep it up and we're going to lose the game.
Maybe.
Karma.
No, it's already been established. It's your fault.
All right. I'll take the blame.
So,
I got big shoulders.
There you go. So thanks for listening, everyone. We appreciate it. And remember, if you were talking about it, so are we.